Hey, Adam,
Geez,
one
why,
thing.
why do you think they called bumpers scary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning, at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that sweet logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
That's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed two little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul and said, Paul.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sweet Talk, our not so weekly podcast at Idaho Continuing Education and Workforce Training. Welcome back. We've been on kind of a hiatus for a while, but I'm back and joining me as well. Oh, I'm Paul Dickey. I'm the apprenticeship coordinator for Sweet, and joining me as always is Angie Wilhelm, our marketing director. Angie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. For those of you outside Idaho, we are having an extremely mild winter compared to our neighbors back east. But as we talk about winter, it is the time for our annual emergency medicine conference coming up in February. This year will be February 27th and 28th for our regular conference, with two pre-conferences actually February 26th. We can learn a little bit more about the EMC conference from our colleague Paige, who is our health programs coordinator. Paige, welcome to your very first podcast. Can you take a minute to talk about the EMC and then introduce our guest today?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year we have an overarching theme of obstetrics. So one of our pre-conferences is going to be life support, basic life support in obstetrics. So we're really excited to have that. The other pre-conference we're having is advanced burn life support. I'm so excited to have that. There are spots available in both of those conferences. So if anybody's interested, please get online, get registered for that. There's going to be some overarching themes of obstetrics and pediatrics throughout the whole conference. That's really great for our rural partners because they can get that experience and that training in case they ever are in a situation where they may need that. So will be really great for that. As well, got some amazing general sessions planned, some great workshops. We have Julie Bacon coming in to do some airway workshops that will be really hands-on. There's also the cadaver lab. We'll have the simulation lab that will also have an obstetrics piece, as well as a newborn piece. So that's going to be great. Some other great general sessions around leadership. There'll be a mental health session as well, some special pathogens. So really got a lot of stuff, including the wilderness track that we have around wilderness physical therapy. So that will be really amazing as well. There's some pediatric portions in that, as well as some case studies. Our keynote speaker is Dave Weber, who is coming to us from our neighbor to the south, Utah, but has a lot of wilderness experience. So that will be a really great keynote sessions from him. So yeah, it's going to be a great conference. It will be my first conference, so I'm really excited.
So, and we have a great MC, don't we, Paige?
I think so. We've got Dallen Farmer is going to be our MC, and he's with us here today. So I really want to read his entire bio because he specifically said in his bio that no one reads these things.
They're awful.
I will spare him the humiliation of that, but it will be in our agenda. So I encourage everyone to read it.
Yes, take notes. There'll be a test, I'm sure.
So
Yes.
welcome, Dallen. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I tell people all the time not to use the word just. Don't qualify yourself like that, but I'm just a paramedic. There's there's that's a lot to unpack in and of itself. But I've lived in Southeast Idaho my whole life. Worked in EMS in almost every county in Southeast Idaho, and I there's two things that I am hugely passionate about: Idaho and EMS. And it just so happens that I get to live in Idaho and practice EMS. I it it's very flattering and a huge privilege for me to be involved in the EMS conference, especially as the MC. I doubt very seriously it's because of my stunning good looks or a knowledge or anything like that. I think the word got out that I've got some pretty good dad jokes, and that's probably what I'll be entertaining people with.
Excellent.
I love EMS and I love ISU's approach to helping EMS in the community and helping people start and establish their careers as EMS providers. So this conference, I've been as an attendee and a speaker for a number of years, and I'm excited to be involved yet again.
Excellent. Excellent. So, how long have you been a paramedic, Dallen?
Let's see. I became a paramedic in 2010, so pushing 15 years now.
15 years. Wow. What made you decide, hey, I'd like to be a paramedic?
I dabbled in a couple of different careers as a first responder. I spent some time in law enforcement. I did some firefighting and then some wildland firefighting, and then settled on paramedicine, and that's really what stuck with me. I love it. It's a challenge. It's never the same thing twice, and you get an opportunity to work with people in some pretty rough circumstances, and it's a pretty cool thing to be a part of that.
So, as a paramedic, you must have some really really highs and lows, right? Like you have certain calls that probably you walk away from and you think that's like the best feeling in the world, and then others you go, this is probably a bad day. So I mean, how do you kind of work with the bad days and the good days?
I feel like I've been pretty fortunate throughout my career in that in the heat of the moment, it's been pretty easy for me to focus on the task at hand, the challenge at hand, and not get super lost out in the emotional weeds with those things. It's on the drive home that those things kind of set in for me, and I think just being very grounded in life, having a good support system with a strong supportive family at home. I'm a very religious person, so I lean heavily on my faith, and I think that's a big part of it. I think this tends to be a bigger challenge for EMS professionals and first responders as a whole, but treating your body with the same respect that you treat everybody else's body. Being careful what you put in and what you take out. Little exercise never killed anyone. A little less caffeine, a little less alcohol, a little more vegetables. Those sorts of things. So.
Oh yeah, because I imagine being a paramedic is also kind of physically challenging as well.
Yeah, increasingly so. The schedule can be super chaotic. That's the calls never come when I want them to. If it were up to me, all the EMS calls would come Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and then we would all get to sleep all night and all the things. But nobody seems to really care what I think about when the calls should come in. So middle of the night they are.
So that's interesting. So I'd imagine you stay. I mean, do you just stay? I'm sorry. Is your paramedic? Do you work for a fire department or what organization do you work for?
Yeah, so I've worked for a couple of different ones, and there's an increasing variety of where and how paramedics can work. In Southeast Idaho, it's primarily fire-based EMS, but there are an increasing amount of EMS third services where they're just completely dedicated to EMS. There's some critical care transport services, both ground and flight. I've spent time in all of those. The majority of my career has been in the flight world, wherein we do the transports on helicopters and
Oh,
airplanes.
really? Wow, I did not realize that. But so are you like at staying at the station then, waiting for calls,
Yeah.
for the
Yep.
most time?
Most of EMS is that way. In some of the smaller communities, you'll still see people that are on call from home or on call from work and those sorts of things. But primarily in areas where there are full-time EMS professionals, they will stay at a station or at a base.
So is it kind of like a balance between utter boredom and, geez, geez, that was an exciting last 2 hours.
Yeah, and everything in between, from a dead sleep to pure chaos, and then right back to sleep again. So it really can vary from day to day. You may go a day without getting any calls, and then you may go a day where it's just back-to-back calls all day long. Every conceivable situation, EMS will be involved in at some point.
Oh, excellent. So, as an EMS, and you go out on a call, I mean, it can be at any time during the day or night. So, how many people are on your staff? I mean, in an ambulance, is it just two people? How many do you usually have as a crew?
I think for the most part, it's a two-person crew. You'll You can get areas where you have a three-person crew regularly, and even in some of the smaller volunteer agencies, there may you may have 3 or 4 or 5 people show up. You may have one person show up. It's harder to predict in those smaller volunteer agencies, which is the majority of Idaho. Idaho being the rural state that it is, EMS is in some respects it's kind of slipped through the cracks where law enforcement there's an obligation for each county to have a sheriff and for that sheriff to provide law enforcement services to its citizens. There's a number of minimum services that each county has to provide, but believe it or not, EMS is not one of them. There's no mandate that EMS be provided in any part of the state.
Wow.
It's in large part it's out of the goodness of the politician's heart that the areas that do have it do have that what they do, but as a result, funding continues to be a challenge, and getting the airtime and the spotlight that EMS professionals need to be successful is also a challenge.
Well, I guess go ahead, Angie.
Okay. So I have a follow-up question to this. With the challenges that may face medical professionals, especially EMS professionals in the state, how does something like the Emergency Medicine Conference help them?
Well, I don't know how many people watching or listening know about medicine education conferences, but they're generally not cheap. They're hard to get to logistically. They're hard to get to from a financial standpoint. And the fact that we have a conference of this size and quality for the extremely low cost that we do is I can't even say that it's helpful in this area. I would almost use the word essential. These small rural EMS providers that do this out of the goodness of their heart, they most often don't get paid. They are leaving their families during birthday parties and barbecues and church things and work things, and they do this because, in large part, nobody else will. It's an uphill battle for them. So for these guys to be able to get the education and the kind of the training and the improvement that they need to stay current can be a challenge. So the fact that we've got this conference here, centrally located in Southeast Idaho, and that we're offering all the different education modalities and topics that we do, it's just really high yield and generally low cost for for the amount of education that you get. So it certainly fills a very needed role in continuing education in EMS.
Excellent. So on that note, you've been an attendee in the past, correct?
Yes.
So what do you think was one of the most valuable things that you took away from the previous EMC conference?
Honestly, the highlights for me are in each of the breakout sessions. It's far less a lecture and more a discussion where you get to hear from other EMS providers in Southeast Idaho and see how they are tackling some of the challenges that we all have. There hasn't ever been a single one of these where I've walked away not having just my brain overflowing with new ideas and new thoughts and these sorts of things. It's a bit like the proverbial drinking from a fire hose, where you just get so many good ideas and so many new ways to tackle old problems.
Well, also, it's not just the speakers. Also, you meet other paramedics and emergency people at the conference and they bring their experiences, and you get to network with them. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of rubbing shoulders with like-minded people, and I think that's probably the tertiary benefit to these things, especially a guy like me who is inherently a people person, and you'll just find me talking to people anywhere I go. This is a completely ideal situation.
Well, we are down to about 2 minutes. We're going to have to wrap this up. But I want to thank you so much, Dallen, for what you do. My dad was an EMT firefighter. So some of what you're saying about how people have to wake up in the middle of the night, and that really hits home for me because I saw what you guys did my entire life growing up. And I think so many people, especially if they've had an ambulance called, what you guys do adds so much value to the healthcare of human beings in the U.S., especially in these rural communities.
That is so nice of you to say. I don't want to take too much time here, but I've kind of had this philosophy, and I teach my paramedic students that no one wakes up in the morning and thinks, boy, I hope today's the day I have to call 911. And when I do, I want them to send the mediocre EMTs and the mediocre paramedics. They want the very best the world has to offer, and they deserve that. This is not a job, really. This is a calling in so many ways, and every single day, EMS providers in Southeast Idaho rise to that challenge and to that calling, and it's just a privilege to be numbered with them.
Very nice. Well, I guess I'll wrap us up. Dallen, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you at the conference. I'll be there filming as always. Paige, thank you for coming on and being with the podcast for your very first time. It won't be your last, I can tell you right now. Angie, thank you as always. I can't do this without you. You are such a support in this process, and thank you. Now, if someone wants to enroll or sign up for the conference, you can reach out to us. You can visit us at our website at cetrain.isu.edu. If you have some additional questions, you can call us at 208-282-3372. Also, you can find our other offerings on the website and give us a call about those as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, and be safe out there.